Hey guys, welcome to Pre-Calc Lesson 2.1, review of quadratics that are in standard form versus vertex form. Okay, so we have been graphing most parabolas from vertex form. Vertex form, if you look on your paper, it's in the form of f of x equals a coefficient of a in front of the parentheses, then x minus h parentheses squared plus k. So we're going to talk about vertex form in more detail in just a little bit, but if you remember when we were talking about vertical shifts, horizontal shifts, we could read them directly from the equation, which was in vertex form. But you need to be familiar with both standard form and vertex form. So if you look at standard form writes the quadratic term first, then the linear term, then the constant. So quadratic, and this is required, quadratic, then linear, then constant term, okay? So it's important to note that capital A represents the coefficient of the quadratic, capital B represents the coefficient of the linear term, and C is the constant. I'm going to ask you to do two things today. I'm going to ask you to find the vertex of a parabola in standard form and the y-intercept of a parabola in standard form. And we're going to do the same thing, vertex and y-intercept of a parabola in vertex form. So how do you find the vertex of a parabola in standard form? Now remember, as a quick review, the vertex of a parabola is either the highest point if it opens down, or the lowest point if it opens up. So it's either the max or the min of a parabola. Finding the vertex is two steps. You're going to take the opposite of b. So it's really important to know that negative b means opposite of b. And divide that by 2 times a. Remember, a is the coefficient of your quadratic term, b is the coefficient of the linear term, and c is the constant term. So again, to find the vertex, it's 2 steps. You're going to take opposite of b, so opposite of 12 divided by 2 times a, simplify. And then you're going to substitute, so you see how it's up here, we did opposite of b over 2a. Now we're going to substitute the result of our x value into our equation. So instead of x, you're plugging in your value of 2. Okay, so I'm using the function right here, f of x equals negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 8, except I'm substituting my value of 2, which is what my x value is. And I'm simplifying using PEMDAS, parentheses and exponents first, then multiplication, and then addition or subtraction. So our answer is, for the vertex, is 2, 4. Okay, now we're going to be asking you guys to do all of this without a calculator. So to find the vertex for standard form, you have to take opposite of b over 2a, simplify, and then substitute that value or plug it in to the original equation. All parabolas have a y-intercept. So no matter how skinny or wide a parabola is, it'll always intersect the y-axis. So remember that the word intercept ends in pt. Y-intercepts always begin with 0, so any point on the y-axis, right? Any point on the y-axis. This one, this one, this one, right? All of these have a y value of, an x value of 0. So to find the y-intercept, you're essentially going to find an ordered pair that has an x value of 0. To find it algebraically, you take your equation and you substitute 0 into it. You follow the order of operations. So parentheses and exponents first, then multiplication or division, and then addition or subtraction. Not too bad, right? You just got to be careful with your algebra. So that's how you handle standard form when finding the vertex. Remember, we're using a formula opposite of b over 2a to find the x value, then substituting it back in to get the y. For the y-intercept, you substitute 0 into the equation to get y. Vertex form obviously looks different because it's got the parentheses, right? And the reason it's called vertex form is because you should be able to read the vertex directly from the equation. So I used to call this the new origin when we first learned about shifts. So write yourself a little note. This has to do with the shifts. For example, the vertex of this parabola is 3, 1. Because this had right shift 3 and up 1, that's in quadrant 1 at the ordered pair 3, 1. That would be your new origin. This one has a left shift 7 and down 9. That would land you in quadrant 3. So the vertex is at -7, -9. There is no formula like in standard form where we had to do opposite of b over 2a. All you do is you can read it directly from the graph, okay? The vertex you can read directly from the equation, not the graph. A lot less work than standard form. Now the y-intercept, same vocab word, y-intercept. You find it by substituting 0. So you're going to substitute 0 into all the x's. So notice I copied the equation exactly the same, and then I substitute my number. You clean it up using PEMDAS. So order of operations, parentheses first, then exponents, -3 squared is 9. And then -18 plus 1 is -17. Don't forget to write your answer as an ordered pair. So this would be 0, -17. If you have a graphing calculator, what you could do is you can turn your stat plot off and type f of x, the function f of x equals -2 parentheses x minus 3 squared plus 1 into your y1. So just plug this into your y1. And you should be able to push zoom stat and see the parabola, and then you can adjust your window to see the y-intercept where it touches the y-axis. So let me show you really quickly. If you type that into your graphing calculator, under y1, remember your stat plot would have to be turned off. So y equals -2 parentheses x minus 3 squared plus 1. Zoom 6. You can see the parabola. The vertex is, you can see where the vertex is, but for the y-intercept, you see how it's going to touch the y-axis down here, but we can't see it. You can go to window and go a little bit further on your y-axis. So go to maybe like -20. And then you can see that it does intersect at -17 for the y-axis. So that's what I mean by using your graphing calculator to check. Okay, so main idea, guys, for these is for the y-intercepts is you're always substituting 0 for all the x's, right? So use your original function and the order of operations. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and then unpause it when you're ready with the answer to make sure you got it right. So pause the video right now Figure this one out on your own without a calculator, and then push play when you're ready to check your answer. Okay, so for this one, I had to take a third of 36, multiply 1/3 times 36. So you just put a 1 under the 36 and multiply from left to right. And then just 36 divided by 3 is 12. So 12 minus 9 would be 3. The y-intercept would be 3. As always, if you want extra help or need to come in, let me know. Just text me and I'll be happy to help. All right, guys, see you later.